everybody, it is Erin or Gimme Yarn 418, and I am here with Thank God It's Finished, or TGIF. I am happy to report that Kristen and I are feeling better, and I want to apologize in advance because we have a house full of dogs today, and it might be even crazier than it usually is. I do have, I guess, quite a bit to show you. Never feels like a lot, but then I get going and it's just so much. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do finished objects. My first finished object I started on June 10th and I finished on February 10th. I showed it to you last week, and that was my scrap blanket, and it came out the perfect size. It's on the back of my couch. I'm not going to pull it down right now, but I will insert a picture of that here. So it came out even better than I had anticipated. I love it. It's warm, it's enormous, and all of the dogs love it. So Kristen and I probably won't be getting to use it all that much, but it is what it is, and as long as somebody's using it and happy, that's all that matters to me. Gotta pull up my notes here. The next thing I finished, because I didn't have enough works in progresses going on. Works in progresses? Works in progress? Works in progress. I saw somebody post on Instagram, it was actually Knittables, not on Instagram, I saw on her podcast, that she had made a miniature Louis the Love Bot, and I've wanted to make Louis the Love Bot forever and a day, but haven't done it because he has this tiny bit of intarsia on his chest. So I pulled out some yarn, some sport weight, I think it was Red Heart Designer Sport. Gross yarn when you knit with it. It's soft when it's done, but when I was knitting with it, it was like squeak, squeak, squeak. And it just was not fun to knit with, and I would never purchase it again. If it was only yarn I had access to for the rest of my life, I would buy it, but I wouldn't run out to get it. So I finished mine. I called him Dewey the Love Bot, and here he is. Oops. He came out really cute. I like his colors. I did the intarsia in the round. I followed a tutorial on YouTube, and that is where I did my turning. I'd never done intarsia before. It actually wasn't that bad. The biggest thing was the tiny bobbins, like not really bobbins, but small bobbins. Butterflies, I think they're called, of yarn hanging off the back of them, getting them untangled. I think it looks pretty good for my first try. I think it looks pretty good even if it wasn't my first try. So he's done, and he's cute, and he's been sitting on the mantle. I think he's adorable. The next thing I finished was something I've had for ages. Actually, I pulled it out last week to show you, but I forgot to show it on the video because I was sick, I guess. I don't know. It's a top, a Jelly Roll Race quilt top that I had finished a long time ago. And I'll try and stand up to show you this one. I have finished quilting and binding this, which was part of my 2014 crafty goals. I have 2 other tops I want to quilt and bind. So this is the binding. I actually love binding the quilts. I think, see, you can't really see. I'll bring it up closer so you can see. It's just cream on the back. And I will tell you that I am a lazy quilter, or I'm not really a quilter, I'm a pretend quilter, but I'm lazy, and I use sheets to back my quilts, because then I don't have to sew them together. It's kind of lazy. So all I did, you can see on this side, is I stitched in the ditch between the strips. Dewey is trying to get over here. I took a couple strips from the Jelly Roll. I put them on reserve. Dewey, you're going to have to wait. And I used those to make the binding. I sewed the binding down to the top to the front with my machine, and I hand stitched it to the back. And I didn't bring them. I used these great little things from Clover. They're called Wonder Clips. I bought a package of 50 of them on Amazon for $13. That held the binding down as I stitched it, and they were amazing. I would highly recommend them. So that is done, and Molly has claimed it for her own. Molly, the dog that's covered in fur. The next thing I have finished, where did they go? Oh, they're right next to me, was I made some wool dryer balls. I had some, fleece that got felted somehow, so I used them for the center, and then I grabbed my scraps of wool. Some of them are not quite round, but they're fine for us. I made 7 of them. I made these yesterday, and I have a front-loading washer, so I put them through 4 cycles with towels, with a hot wash and a cold rinse, and 4 cycles? 3 cycles, and then on high heat in the dryer, and they came out pretty great. And these are supposed to cut drying time down by, Dewey's on my lap, by a quarter to a half of the time, so that's great, especially when you're trying to save money, conserve energy. You can't really beat it. I just finished these. You've seen them cut out, but these are 2 more pairs of fleece socks. These ones are in my size, which is small. I haven't tried them on yet. I literally just finished before this video. But I'm looking forward to trying those. And I've pulled out some more fleece from my stash. I don't have much left to make some more pair for Kristen, because she really enjoys them. And my final finished object this week is the African flower project that I've been showing you. Well, I haven't been showing you. I think I showed it to you once. I completed it. And the flowers took me a couple days to make, and then they sat for a while, and the pieces took forever to make, just because they're kind of a slog. But just watching it come together is so cute. This is a pay for a pattern on Ravelry. As always, all my pattern sources will be linked on my Ravelry page, unless it's like my sewing pattern. I will link that in the description below. This pattern is called Miss Woolly. I can't remember who it's by, but I will show you. She's knit out of Red Heart Super Saver. In the gray is Red Heart Super Saver. The teal is Red Heart Kids. The off-white is I Love This Yarn. The Fun Fur is from Big Lots, which I want to say I do not recommend Big Lots Fun Fur, because I ended up with more of these little fibers all over me than on the entire sheep. So here she is. Don't you love her tail? She has an R name. Are you ready for it? Because all my sheep have R names. This is Riley the sheep. And she will be living with the rest of the sheep in my studio. Although she's not going to fit in the sheep section. She'll have to sit with Neapolitan, the hippopotamus. I think she came out really cute. She's a lot of work. And I will say, this pattern is great. It's great. The one downfall is, if I had not made Neapolitan the hippopotamus first, who was by a different designer, I would have had a very hard time piecing this together. Neapolitan, which the pattern for that is called Happypotamus, literally tells you, okay, now attach this piece here, now attach this piece here, now attach this piece here, because it's very intricate. Riley, on the other hand, just had a diagram with all of the African flowers, and it was very confusing to me to keep track of what I had attached where and whatnot. And that might just be me, and I got through, and it comes to you. It comes together, and it's like magic, which is awesome. But I wouldn't deter you from buying this pattern, because it is a fantastic pattern. I just would tell you to take your time and know that if you sew a piece on incorrectly, just take it off and reattach it and go slow. She took me a whole day to sew the African flowers together, because I had to step away every once in a while, or I would have pulled all my hair out. Excuse me. Let me get a little drink. I'm still a little hoarse from the flu. So that's all my finished objects. Works in progress. I guess we'll start at the top. I wanted to try 2-color crochet or graph, like crocheting graphs. I don't know what's called, color work in knitting. I would assume it's probably called the same thing in crochet. Let me see which side's the front. I'm not very good at it, but that's okay. This is a pay-for pattern. I'll show you what it'll look like first. I bought it more so for the size, so I would know, oops, if when I get my, I can't do this apparently. There it is. I bought this more so I could see a size so I can fit my own graphs in there if I decide this is something I like. I do like this. However, I would go down a hook size the next time from the recommended size, and I would only do 2 colors. This is too many colors for me. This is what I have so far. And the reason I would go down a hook size is because you can definitely see my carried color underneath. And I think it's just because I think it's 2 things. I'm not pulling my main color taut enough, and my hook size is too big. My stitches are too loose. But all in all, I am pleased with it. I already know who this is going to go to. And I'm hoping to have that done next week. But we all know that when I have intentions like that, they usually don't work out. My next work in progress, which you're probably expecting to see in the finished object section, is my fruit stripes socks. Yes, fruit stripe socks. They've gotten no love, but I hope to have them done next week. I have the intention to have them done next week. I have some order things I need to get done, but when that's done, this is first up. The other thing I had not worked on is my Addie Log cabin. I just haven't had time. First I was sick, then I was recovering, then we got 2 feet of snow. You know, life happens. And my final work in progress, because that's all I have. I can't believe that's like the smallest number of works in progresses I've ever had. Is it works in progress or works in progresses? I think it's works in progress, because that would be like a double plural. Anyway, this is another one. I showed a green one of these before. It's a seamless yoke baby cardigan. It's really cute. Free pattern on Ravelry. Super duper easy. Lots of purling. And this is out of Knit Picks Brava worsted, which I'm enjoying that yarn. That's all my works in progress, but Kristen is knitting. She brought out her grandmother's knitting needles, and I cast on for her, and she has been mastering the knit stitch. And look at that. I couldn't knit this. I'm very impressed. Her tension is evening out. You can see down here it was a little loose. The stitches on the edge were loose, but her edges are getting really even. I asked her if she wanted to show it, but she can't get away from work right now. So, yeah, I'm very proud of her. Yay! So Kristen said she will never be a knitter, but now she is officially a knitter. So that's all the works in progress. I have no stash enhancement. It's been 2 months. Most days I'm fine. Some days I see something on Ravelry that I'm like, oh, I want to buy that yarn. I want to buy that book. But I haven't bought anything. And what was I going to show you? Oh, upcoming. The next thing I'm going to be making when I finish the sweater is I'm going to be making 2 of these. It's called Nelson the Owl. It's from Fresh Stitches. It's a pay-for pattern on Ravelry. The other thing I will be starting is the Owl in One. I really have been trying to focus on getting some things done that have already been started. I have more notes here. I have a project bag that I was working on that I would like to finish. It's more of a notions bag. Let's see what else. I have to make a Bernese Mountain Dog hat, And I am going to be making, I've had the fabric for this for a long time. I'm going to be making this pattern, which is the Belle pattern. It's actually a licensed pattern by Disney for an 18-inch doll. I don't have anybody to give it to, but I love Beauty and the Beast. It's my favorite movie, so I'm going to make it anyway. So that is all for the knitting and sewing and crafting, and Molly just climbed on the couch. 2 more things, and then introductions. The shawl knit and crochet along ends tonight at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. I probably won't be up to lock the thread at that point, but you need to have your picture posted in the finished objects thread by 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. I will not count anything after that, and I will draw for prizes next week during my video. The other thing I wanted to say was that over on the Ravelry group, we have a thread called Whip It Out Wednesday, WIP, where I invite you to come in on Wednesday and show us everything that you're working on, everything that's a work in progress. I don't include my UFOs, but I put it all out there. And I will say that every once in a while, I will randomly draw for a prize to someone in that group who posts. So that's all I have. So let's just get right into introductions. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5. The first person who introduced herself is Selma1, who is Selma from Manitoba, Canada. Patsy Z, who is Patsy. She didn't say where she was from. Dorlia, Dorlia, who is Dora. Not sure where she's from. Z Mail Lady, who is Z. She's on YouTube, Zelda NRJ3 from Los Angeles, California. And the one and only KB Macgeek, who is Kristen, my better half. So, welcome everybody. I get really excited to see everybody in the group, and I do go over there and check a couple times a day. I'm not the greatest at responding to people, but I'm trying. I can only improve on so many things at a time, and right now I'm trying to get more consistent with my videos. That's all I have for you. So until next time, I hope you're doing great, and I'll see you next week. Bye.